Eddie, by the time Anthony Joshua and Oleksandr Usyk will come face to face again for the second time, it will have been nearly a year since the first fight at Tottenham. Just give us a quick summary of why it took so long for this rematch to get locked in.
Well, I think whenever you make a fight of this size, especially in a new location outside of the norm, things take longer. I think obviously with the issues around Oleksandr Usyk and obviously Ukraine as well, it's definitely a few months later than expected, but delighted that we're finally here. It's the only fight really that AJ wanted. He could have gone away and taken an interim fight or a fight outside of the rematch agreement. He wasn't interested. He wants to be heavyweight champion of the world. He wants to become a 3-time world champion. He wants revenge against Oleksandr Usyk. And like I said, although it took a couple more months than anticipated, we're delighted it's here, and this is what he wants.
And back in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, fond memories from the Ruiz 2 win a couple of years ago now.
Absolutely. I mean, again, when you talk about delays and COVID, I think that really stopped the growth of boxing in the Kingdom. When we came with the Ruiz fight, that was 2019. A purpose-built stadium for that fight, and the intention was to stage a lot more boxing here. We've seen tremendous growth in the Kingdom. I think grassroots boxing up over 300% in terms of participation, but that growth naturally slowed through the pandemic, but now with a chance to really regain momentum. And this is the biggest fight in boxing right now. It's certainly the biggest fight that's ever taken place here in the Kingdom, and a major win for them to bring the World Heavyweight Championship here.
Does fighting in Saudi Arabia give Anthony any advantages whatsoever? He's been here, done it, and sort of knows the rope where Oleksandr's coming into new territory.
Maybe. I mean, Usyk is also training in Dubai, which is probably a slight advantage for him in terms of the weather, in terms of the time zone as well. But, AJ will be out here nice and early. He's comfortable here. He had a great experience beating Andy Ruiz here. He had no problems coming back for this fight. He's calm, as they both are. Both very experienced fighters. I don't think anything's really going to faze them, especially not Oleksandr Usyk. It's going to come down to August 20th and who can execute the right game plan on the night.
And talking about game plans, one change to this fight is the addition of Robert Garcia. What have you made of his addition to the camp? What's Anthony said to you about his link-up?
Everyone feels great. I mean, Robert Garcia is a proven, elite, world-class boxing coach. He's slotted into the team very well with Angel. I think he has the right mindset. He's aggressive enough to know what needs to happen in this fight. And I think I watched an interview with him the other day, and I was very impressed with what he said in terms of the game plan. Against Oleksandr Usyk, it's not just a game plan, and that's going to work. You need to be able to switch and adapt during the fight, and I think he's going to be very good at that. So they've made a great start. Obviously, the slight delay may even end up helping Anthony Joshua to spend more time with Robert Garcia, but certainly a brilliant addition to the team. The whole team full of confidence right now, and we all believe that Anthony will be victorious on August 20th.
And one word you mentioned there, aggressive. We spoke to Robert a couple of minutes ago. He also mentioned the word aggressive. Is that a key element for Anthony to take into this fight and sort of change his game plan?
Yeah, it is. I don't think you can just be aggressive against Oleksandr Usyk, but you certainly have to be aggressive. He has to let his hands go more. He has to damage Oleksandr Usyk whenever he can, and he has to take him out of his rhythm. I don't think Oleksandr Usyk likes getting hit. I don't think he liked getting hit in the first fight, and he didn't get hit much. So AJ's got to take the chances when they present itself. He's got to be smarter, but he's got to let his hands go. I think this fight will be a lot more exciting than the first fight because AJ shared 12 rounds now. He understands the skills and the attributes of Oleksandr Usyk, and he has to negate that with his assets, which is his power, his speed, his combination punching. Easier said than done, but certainly I believe you're going to see a much more aggressive Anthony Joshua in this fight.
You mentioned about Anthony there letting his hands go a bit more. I watched the fight back last weekend. I think it was the first time actually, and one noticeable thing I took away from it was the body punching of Joshua. There's a couple of times Usyk seemed hurt. Is that an area of success that Anthony can hone in on this time around? Yeah,
I think you've only got to look at the Usyk fights of the past. I mean, you're drawing on World Series of Boxing and amateur experience, but he's been dropped numerous occasions to the body, sometimes sighting around the back or a low blow, but I don't think he likes it around the body, and I think that's certainly something that people felt that Anthony should have targeted in the first fight. Again, easier said than done. Usyk's a pound-for-pound great fighter. He's very clever. But, body, arms, neck, head, wherever you can, lay lever on him and, do the damage, put a dent in him early in this fight. I think that's a necessity.
This feels a bit different this time around for an Anthony Joshua fight. Often at these sort of media events, people are often talking about the fight after, the next fight. This time around, haven't really heard too much about that. It's all about the present this time around.
I think that's a good thing, because I think so many times we've been involved with AJ fights. Doesn't matter whether it was Joseph Parker unification, Povetkin, Andy Ruiz was probably the best example. Everybody talking about the undisputed fight, what's next? This is a fight really that it's all that matters. Of course, people will always talk about the Tyson Fury fight, but this is the only focus right now. And this is the toughest fight of Anthony Joshua's career, unquestionably. So all the focus has to be on this fight. Once again, it's his 12th successive World Championship fight. It's incredible. In only, his 27th fight? His resume is incredible. He's always stepped up to challenges. He should be applauded for that. You know, after the Andy Ruiz fight, he wanted to jump straight back into that rematch. After this defeat, he wanted to jump straight back into this rematch. So he's always up for a challenge, and we really believe that he will do the business on August 20th.
Just closing, any updates you can give us on potential undercard additions to August 20th?
Yeah, we're working on that at the moment. I mean, it's already been sort of widely reported about Callum Smith in a big fight on this card, and Filip Hrgovic against Zhilei Zhang in a final eliminator. The winner will be mandatory. Number of other fights to be discussed as well, but we'll be announcing those in the very near future.
Eddie, thanks for your time.